Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back, KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 0.2% to 42,209. Ethereum up 0.5% to 2897. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. Our community's focus is on real wealth and maintaining a positive excellence life trend. We realize there's a lot more to life than just money. Integrity, decency, kindness, inner and outer peace, courage and honor, fearlessness, fulfillment and meaning. These are the things that make a house a home. Looking into the crypto market, we can see the fear and greed index is up slightly from yesterday. There's still a lot of fear in the market, and that's suppressing price. When turning to Bitcoin options expiring at the end of the month, we can see the put-call ratio was 0.67, which means a lot of people are expecting the price to go higher. The max paying price is 41,000, where the majority of the options expire worthless. But we can see we have actual focus up to $140,000 per Bitcoin. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. This is a really important rule to understand. We can see over the last 3 days that we actually broke a level of support, and that's turned into resistance. We came down to the 41,933 mark, and we've been consolidating around here for the past 3 days. Bitcoin is currently trading at 42,252. What I've done here, I've just put Percy, the magnetic price sheet. He's got a bit of bling on him. The whole concept with Percy, the magnetic price sheet, is that what we see when price breaks through a resistance line, it will hit a support and then try to come back to the resistance line to get above it. Sometimes it doesn't work, as we saw here. It can get above, but it's pulled back. If the gravity of Bitcoin is going down, that will draw it down to a support. You can see so many times Percy the magnetic price sheet hit the fence of resistance up here and then hit support. Even this particular time where we broke down through support, the magnet was so strong that we ended up going back up. We can see that we've basically been going sideways for the past 3 days. There's a couple of key levels to watch. The first one is 41,933, which has been reinforced time and time and time again. This is a fairly strong fence. The next one below is 41,461. The next one above will play in at around 43,116. We have a level of resistance at 43,458, which is a key one. When new investors and traders get into the crypto market, they do what's called the light switch effect. They tend to go all in and all out based on the hype of many influencers. The problem is that this is not the way to actually make money. Also, many influencers say that there is certainty in the crypto market. Nothing could be further from the truth. There is no certainty. That's why many people have significant stress and sleepless nights. There is a better way than buying on the green and selling on the red. That's getting into zone 3 and zone 4, which is when people layer into trades. They wait for price to come to them. And of course, all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. So understanding trading philosophy and how to do it is incredibly important for every investor to do. What happens is that professionals buy on the red. They wait for price to come to them. They don't chase price, and then they sell on the green. It's a completely different mindset. Crypto technical analysts are in control professionals. They understand volatility and are in control emotionally. They have calmness, inner and outer peace, and a lot of patience. They also scientifically track investor attention. What happens typically when people get into the market, they don't really know what they're doing. They take advice from influencers who are just shilling particular links to make money, and they're not really understanding of what crypto is all about. Of course they make losses. This is just a natural part of the market. But moving into zones 3 and zones 4, when you're in control, you do the research, you know your foundations, how to mark up a chart, you look external to the market, you see how everything works together, you time it, you find the market's focus, you know that opportunities reset daily, and you enhance your pattern recognition. You also understand the rules of wealth versus the rules of riches. The two are very, very different. You're in control and master of your own emotions, and then you know how to buy and sell. You can see it's a lot different than just randomly taking trades and going all in and all out. It's very scientific. As no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, we need to understand the larger market cycles. We know crypto is a very small market and it's growing really, really rapidly in terms of its adoption, but it's still very, very tiny in comparison to stocks and bonds. Crypto around 2 trillion. Understanding the interplay between stocks and bonds is really, really important, as is understanding gold. Masterclass students, in TM6 you'll get my live chart. What we can see is there was a spike in fear. That's now receded a little bit. It's just starting to come down. What do we see with prices? Prices in the Nasdaq 100 are starting to go up. We can see a bit of a decrease in oil. That is a good sign because Russia controls a lot of the exports. In fact, Russia exports 5 million barrels a day of crude, roughly 12% of global trade, and around 2.5 million barrels a day of petroleum products, about 10% of global trade. That is about 60% of Russia's oil exports go to Europe and another 30% go to China. So in this concept, if a war breaks out between Russia and Ukraine, because of the way that NATO is organized, the European countries could suffer particular shortages of oil, and that's what's seeing an increase and spike in the price. As oil starts to decrease, that's going to be a counter-war signal for us. We want to keep our eyes on these things. Bond prices, when war is imminent or when war is breaking out, bond prices will literally climb up the wall, as will gold, as will the US dollar currency index. Bond yields will collapse. We're not seeing any of these things. What we're seeing, for example, we're not seeing the bond prices climb up the wall. They've just reached a lower level of consolidation. We've got a pullback in yields. Certainly gold is spiking, and that's indicating geopolitical tension, and the US dollar is also spiking. Because Bitcoin is such a small market and it's controlled inside the stock market and the bond market, and also to a degree by gold, we need to be aware that we can see various issues playing out inside these markets which could put negative pressure on crypto. Masterclass students, in TR23 you'll get this live chart. We can see gold spiking up, copper, palladium, platinum, silver all coming up as well. Across the world with C19, because the virus is quite important, we can see around 413.6 million cases. We notice that the daily new cases is actually getting lower, which is great news. And when we look at the yesterday caseload, it was 1.56 million, which is about half what it was about a week ago. With the virus decreasing, we would expect a reopening trade, and what we can see is the airlines index actually starting to get above resistance. A lot of the transportation indexes have been hit because the Nasdaq and the major indices in the US have come down. Masterclass students, you will receive this in TM3. Around the media, you hear about M1, M2, the federal balance sheet, inflation, 5-year, 10-year. All of these things absolutely count when it comes to Bitcoin. What we can see is the inflation break-even rate. This sort of pinky salmon line and the blue line, the 5-year and the 10-year, have peaked, come down. Notice how it's impacting Bitcoin. Notice the correlation, the directional correlation between inflation expectations and Bitcoin. What we can see is the 5-year break-even inflation rate is actually increasing. The 10-year bottomed out, but it looks to be overcoming resistance. We would be expecting more inflation in the economic system, and certainly oil is not helping. Masterclass students, you will receive my live chart in TM4. We can see a divergence between inverse bond prices and Bitcoin. What this actually signifies is some divergence within the market at the moment. We can see that real rates are actually increasing at present. You can see an interesting correlation between Chinese property market sentiment, and these 7 companies have over $1 trillion in net debt. Masterclass students, you will receive this in TM5. You can see the stock prices of these various Chinese property giants coming down just recently as the US market is going up. When looking at Russian market sentiment, we can see the Russian market and these very large Russian firms had a spike down in their price. We've seen a little bit of a recovery. That may mean the tension is coming off. It's interesting to also see war sentiment. We're looking at some major defense sector companies, 6 in fact, and we can see just recently these prices started to come down. This may actually signify a de-escalation of tension between Russia and Ukraine. Masterclass students, you will get my live chart in LV12. Our focus is on crypto. We've looked at the outside trends. We can see inflation peaking up, gold spiking, the DXY spiking, fear starting to come out of the market, the Nasdaq 100 starting to go up. There's a lot of other factors that indicate that the potential of a Russia-Ukraine conflict is actually de-escalating. This is really positive for Bitcoin and the entire crypto space. The next thing crypto technical analysts do is they find the market's focus because they understand opportunities reset daily and they seek to enhance pattern recognition. We'll basically go through the top 40 cryptos. We can see, for example, Bitcoin has been selling down to a support level. 2 levels that we need to watch, one above 47,658, one below 37,006. We can see the same thing with Ethereum. A little bit weaker than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is much stronger than Ethereum at present. The key level to watch with Ethereum, 3268 for resistance and 2592 for support. For Binance Coin, looking a bit weaker than both. Actually, we can see a resistance level at 427.40 and a support level at 370.40. When looking at XRP, XRP looks the strongest of these 4 so far. Support level below of 76.29 and a further 10.510 at 61.04. A resistance above would be 99.16. For these 5, Cardano, ADA looking the weakest. It's currently at 1.049. It has support below at 1.033. The next resistance level is 1.227. We can see Sol, very much like ADA, it's quite weak. Current price is 97.09. It is above its support level at 90.98. Next resistance level 116.87. The blue line in the background is Bitcoin's gravity. Understanding how Bitcoin's gravity impacts your beloved alts is something that you want to specialize in. It's really, really important to understand. We can see AVAX pushing up more strongly than Bitcoin, and this is what we expect from alts anyway. That's why they're so interesting, because if they outperform Bitcoin, why get Bitcoin? Just get an alt. Let's have a look. What we're seeing is AVAX is under resistance at 92.24. Very strong 10-5-10 level. Support at 63.96. Another thing to keep a note of is divergence. When we see Bitcoin's gravity playing out in blue here over Luna, what we actually see is Luna's price action is incredibly suppressed. Remember, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. We would expect a snap back to this gravity at some stage. Divergence operates in both a positive and a negative way. Rule number 4, price moves in waves. This is incredibly important to understand. Price is always moving up and moving down. Looking at Bitcoin's gravity is really important. It can give us an understanding as to how strong or weak your beloved alt is. Looking at DOT is underperforming Bitcoin at the moment. You can see it's below that blue line, Bitcoin's gravity. We can see Doge following Bitcoin's gravity. It's in alignment. SHIB is more powerful. It's outperforming Bitcoin at the moment. It's showing strength. Matic has been diverging and reconverging. Notice these spikes up. When Matic wants to party, it really wants to party. Now look at this particular price action. It's come down very sharp, very hard. What do we notice about these sharp downward spikes? Sharp angles reflect. These are really good to look at from a trading stance. We can see CRO is in alignment, as is Litecoin. They're following Bitcoin's directional price movement. When we look at Chainlink, we can see a little bit of weakness here. Don't forget, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. We saw a divergence previously with Chainlink. Bitcoin was coming down, Chainlink went up, gravity kicked in, and look what happened to Chainlink. It got dragged down from about 28.43 down to around $14 and below. This is really important to understand. When you understand the gravity divergences and convergences, you can do really well from crypto. Let's have a look at NEAR as well. NEAR, we can see, has potential power in it. It's following Bitcoin's gravity, but it's exerting some weakness just recently. That could also snap back. Just be aware of this. Looking quickly at the next date, we can see Uni underperforming Bitcoin's gravity. We can also see Decentraland Mana outperforming gravity. It's showing signs of strength. Cosmos is a little bit wobbly at the moment. It's sold down particularly hard, but notice these divergences as well. Bitcoin Cash is in alignment. Algorand is looking really weak. We may get a snapback here at some stage. FTT is looking really good. It's above a level of previous resistance, turning this into support. This is a really good pattern. Just keep your eye on this one. Stellar, we can see some weakness, but also quite aligned. And when we look at Ethereum Classic, basically in alignment. Looking at the next date, we can see Sand is outperforming Bitcoin's gravity. Axie Infinity in alignment. ICP having weakness, underperforming. VeChain underperforming. Theta is showing strength. Filecoin showing weakness. Tezos showing strength. And EGLD showing strength. Turning to the community favorites, VRA basically in alignment. Icon in alignment, but just a little bit weaker recently. Rose showing relative strength compared to Bitcoin. Waves just a bit weak just recently. Loopring, LRC, following Bitcoin's gravity, but just a little bit under just of late, as is YGG. CRV is just diverging from Bitcoin's gravity at the moment, and CHR is a little bit under as well. Many people, when they enter the crypto market, they pick up a gun, the price gun that kind of looks like this. When they pull the trigger, it's not a good outcome. Also, when they do trades, when they make investments, they throw darts all over the place because they're not really quite sure what will work out and what will not work out. And that is just a very, very natural thing to do. Rule 18, patiently apply the 10-5-10 rule. And Rule 130, make volatility your best friend. We cover in the Masterclass the triggers section, which is all about looking how to buy and how to sell effectively. One critical thing to understand from the trigger section, when you look at a particular percentage, for example, crypto is incredibly volatile. It's the most volatile exponential asset class on the planet. What we're looking at here is rows. When rows came down, for example, I'll just put it here. So rows came down to around this level, around 53%. When rows recovers from that level, it will go up 113%. The exact up and down is not the important thing. The concept is when it comes down a certain amount, when it goes up, it will go up more. For example, what happens here when rows, for example, if rows was to fall to this particular level, down around 60.68%, it would go up 155%. This is why it's really important to understand how to layer into trades. You actually make your money when you buy. It doesn't matter what kind of market it is. It can be a bull market, a bear market, consolidation. If you buy really well, you're always going to make money, but you will have to have patience in the process. The only way to get patience is to go through many trades over many years. I've been in the markets for more than 3 decades. It takes a long time to understand the mechanics of money and the rules of wealth. And when you understand the rules and you can play by that game, you're going to win. You just need to know what the rules are. We've been running this rose thought experiment for quite a while. These lines are buy lines. This is where I bought into rows. The lines below are actually also 10-5-10 lines. The concept is that we buy at layers of support below and we don't worry about missing out. You'll notice that these lines have been here for quite a long period of time. Since the 26th of January, some before that. The concept is we actually make our money when we buy lower and lower and lower. This is a good thing, and crypto is so incredibly volatile. It can just do a very long tail rejection and slurp up all these buy orders and then rally up hundreds of percent. It does it all the time. I believe the major thing impacting the markets right now is Russia and Ukraine. It's very interesting that I've seen a couple of articles saying that Ukraine is going to walk away from NATO, and then yet other articles saying that Ukraine and Russia are on the brink of war. That's the reason that we need to look at so many charts. We can see, for example, gold spiking up. This is a hedge against geopolitical risk. The US dollar can be a safe haven play, so that's also another thing that we keep in mind. We don't see bond prices going up the wall, which is a really good sign. Overall, we see fear leaving the markets starting to consolidate. What we need to do is just watch this situation closely, but it does seem to be, with oil coming down just a tad, it does seem to be just on the edge. We don't have much confirmation either way. That means that Percy the magnetic price sheet may remain range bound for a little while longer. I think over this 3-day period, we've found a very strong level of support at this 41,933 mark, and we're trying to get above this resistance. It's starting to look a little bit more positive because we're making higher highs here. This is lower, this is higher. This is actually a good sign, but we also realize that we're in no man's land at the moment. We just realistically need to get above this particular level of 43,100 to get up to the 43,458 mark. And then we'll find that we've got a little bit of trapped paddock. If, for example, Percy can get up here into this paddock, he'll probably wander around, or he'll need a lot of power to get through this 43,824 mark. If it goes the other way and we lose that support, what is the next case scenario? It's to actually come down to 41,461, and then we have much stronger fences down at 40,547. As a professional, we always make 3 in advance probabilistic choices and decisions. Anytime we're in the market, we know what we will do if price goes down, goes up, or goes sideways. You need to do this as well. If you're not doing so already, it will just decrease the amount of stress that you experience. I want you to have sleep-filled nights, not sleepless nights. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the link to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. If you're interested in that, please seek out an ambassador to get 80% off. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.